Sivagami, an elderly woman, is seen with a baby outside a massive waterfall. She is aware that two soldiers are after her despite being worn out, hurt, and exhausted with an arrow in her back. She cleverly traps them, then murders him with their own swords and runs away. She unintentionally gets swept up in the river's flow and is unable to reach the beach. Sivagami begs Lord Shiva, the Hindu god of death and annihilation of evil, to take her life as retribution for her transgressions. But Mahendra Bahubali the child must live to see the light. While keeping Mahendra above the water, she drowns but not before a group of people save him. The Ambari tribe, who live close to the river and revere Shiva, makes up the villagers. Sangha, the local chief, learns that the woman who drowned managed to elude the soldiers by entering a covert cave. Sangha's husband believes they must take the baby back as Sivagami pointed up towards the mountain just before she passed away, but Sangha declines out of concern for his safety. She chooses to adopt him and gives him the name Shivudu, also known as Shivu. After 25 years, Shivudu develops into a young, acrobatic, adventurous, and kind-hearted man. To Sangha's dismay, he spends years trying to climb the mountain because he is fixated on the thought of the potential adventure that lies above. Sangha prays to Shiva by pouring water from the falls onto the Shiva Lingam pedestal in the hopes that Shiva will become submissive and cease his efforts. Shivu demonstrates some sort of supernatural strength by moving the Shiva Lingam and picking it up. Shivu finds a mask shortly after and carries it to the base of the waterfall. He notices that the mask left a face that resembles a woman in the mud where it washed ashore from. He is further inspired to climb the mountain in order to identify the owner of the mask. After successfully ascending the mountain, he discovers Avantika being pursued by warriors from the Maheshmati kingdom. They are lured into a trap by Avantika as she poses as a damsel in distress, and they kill the troops. Avantika reports to the rebels from Kuntala's overthrown kingdom, who are the tribe's chief. The clan is headed by Chief Jayavarma, who states that Maheshmati must be freed from the oppressive rule of Balaladva, alias Bala. Devasena Varma is being held hostage by Bala, who often tortures her. Avantika and Jaya had a conversation about Katap, a brave warrior who lives in Maheshmati and could be able to aid their cause. Jaya verifies that the Katapa has lost interest and, like his forebears, is an honor-bound slave to the Maheshmati royal family. Under Bala's leadership, slave labor is utilized in Maheshmati's weapon production, which is managed by Katapa. Aslam Khan, a weapon salesman who pays Katapa a visit, becomes a friend after learning about both his history and current responsibilities. Despite being a general and army leader, Katapa is a strong and skillful fighter whose family is obligated to serve the monarch as a slave. Coming up to Bala's birthday, the rebel tribe has the ideal chance to save Devasena. Avantika receives the award after discovering a Shivu-created henna painting on her hand in the day when she was taking a nap. Despite being accused of foregoing duty in favor of beauty, she tells Jaya that the mission is her top priority. The domineering and power-obsessed Balalatva demonstrates how the kingdom of Maheshmati treats its subjects unfairly as slaves. His father Lord Bijalatva and his son Prince Badrudu also reside with Bala. To gauge his strength, Bala's soldiers have taken a Gwar bull out of the forest. After defeating the bull, he realizes that Katapa had attempted to save him while he was preoccupied. Bala explains to Katapa that he knows the latter despises and longs to murder him and wonders why the latter continues to be devoted. He chooses to fulfill Katapa's wish, which ends up being the release of Devasena. Katapa is given the option to kill her, but Bala chooses not to. That evening, Katapa meets Devasena and asks for permission to liberate her. Devasena is frustrated since it is clear that she has spent the last 25 years creating a pyre in order to assassinate Bala. She claims that Bala will be held accountable for his actions because her long-lost son is still alive. Shivu continues to try to catch Avantika's eye, and they come into contact roughly. Shivu tries to make her combat-scarred life more enjoyable by highlighting her inner beauty. Shivu and Avantika become friends when Shivu protects her from Maheshmati soldiers. Shivu pledges to uphold Avantika's dignity, and although not knowing Devasena personally, he is determined to save her because he recognizes her significance to the rebellion. The following day, Shivu sneaks inside Maheshmati and discovers Bala's men creating a golden statue of him. The statue tumbles, but Shivu holds it, and a passerby who calls him Bahubali briefly sees his face through his mask. Bala is furious when the guys and bystanders begin to rebelliously shout Bahubali around them. The statue is in place, and that evening Bala insists on questioning the guards to determine who was accountable. When called to Bala's quarters, Shivu poses as a guard. He makes a successful getaway, frees Devasena, and rides her in a chariot out of the realm. However, Badra's scouts and guards halt him, but he fends them off. Despite Kaddapa's assistance, Shivu beheads Badra in retaliation for how he treated Devasena. At this point, Sangha, the Ambiris, and the rebels all set out in search of him out of worry. When Kadapa recognizes a familiar face, he quits trying to kill Shivu. As soon as he shouts Bahubali into the air, the local tribes and Kaddapa's devoted warriors bow before him. Shivu learns that he was adopted, that his real name is Mahendra Bahubali, and that his father's name is Amarendra Bahubali from Kadapa the following morning. King Samadva of the ancient royal dynasty had two sons, Bijaladva and Mahadva alias Vikramadva, who were born in Maheshmati about 50 years ago. The polar opposites of Bijaladva and Vikramadva. The former is insane and preoccupied with power, while the latter is gentle and considerate to his subjects and realm. Because of this, Vikramadva became king, infuriating Bijaladva. After Bijaladva has his son Balaladva with his wife Sivagami, a subject in the kingdom who ultimately rose to allegiance in the royal family, Vikramadva later perishes in battle. Following the death of Vikramadva's wife during childbirth, Sivagami decides to adopt the son. Sivagami decides to provide them both equal claim to the throne and gives the boy the name Amarendra Bahubali. Along with acquiring academics, philosophy, and fighting techniques, Amarendra and Bala train and battle together. People clearly adore Amarendra because of his noble quality, kindness, and commitment to making the kingdom a safer place. As a result of his growing resentment over the years, Bala plots to harm his cousin and adopted brother in order to usurp the kingdom and govern with an iron fist in the same manner that his father was unable to. The princes one day discover Sakathan, a traitor in the kingdom, working as a spy for the nefarious Kalakya tribe. Maheshmati is a clan of barbaric robbers that raids and overthrows kingdoms before moving on to the next. The Kalakyas are rough companions of Maheshmati. Using an unused trident formation, the Maheshmati royals plan their response to the Kalakya threat of war. Even if the troops are equally divided, Lord Bijaleva cunningly offers his son an advantage by giving him additional soldiers and weaponry. The Kalakya chief named Inkoshi insults Sivagami the following day while seeking to reach a truce. Sivagami asks that Bahubali endure suffering before passing away since this incenses him. Bahubali takes innovative initiative to burn the Kalakya army with flaming tent tarps as the two sides engage in combat. The armies of Bahubali and Bala defeat Inkoshi's army, which is held back by peasants who have been captured. Although the thoughtless and ruthless Bala murders them in cold blood, Bahubali is able to shield them from crossfire. At the kingdom's gates, Kadapa manages to stop the invaders, but his defenses are broken. The troops are inspired by Bahubali to uphold their pledge and repel the brutish invaders of their justly held land. When Inkoshi's defense is breached by the forces of Bahubali and Bala, she engages the princes in open combat. Bala, who is determined to defeat his brother, fights back against him with vigor and annoyance, but Bahubali expertly disarms and overwhelms Inkoshi using the golden lion head from Bala's wrecked scythe chariot. Bala murders Inkoshi after he is hurt and brought into the world. Vijaladva feels that since Bala was the one who first killed him, he should be crowned king. Sivagami makes the choice for Bahubali, who prioritizes defending his subjects and commanding the troops in combat. She proclaims that Bahubali is a just guy who deserves to rule, and the soldiers and people cheer him on. Returning in the present, Sangha is pleased that her adopted son is the Maheshmati, but Kadapa reveals that Amarendra is dead and that he was persuaded to kill his own buddy under mysterious circumstances.